If your baitcaster keeps doing this, it may not just be your reel. Cast, backlash. Fix it, cast again, another backlash. You start to think to yourself, is it the reel that sucks or is it me that sucks? But honestly, here's the truth. It's probably not you and it's probably not the reel. Most anglers just don't know how to use monofilament correctly on a baitcaster, and it's gonna cause this every single time. Monofilament has a ton of memory. So what that means is whatever shape that you put it in, it's usually gonna stay in that shape or fight against it. So if you overspool it or put too much on your reel, you're gonna have this. Okay, that might be exaggerated, but still, it's gonna be annoying. The reason why monofilament having memory is a bad thing is because when you go to make the cast, it usually comes off the reel uneven, which results in a backlash. But luckily, for every problem, there's a solution. Today, I have 5 tips that I'm gonna show you guys to help you eliminate the problem. That way, you can spend less time cutting and cussing and more time catching fish. Step number 1, when you're using mono on your baitcaster, make sure that it's extremely tight. You want the line extremely tight to the reel. If it's loose, it's gonna cause you issues. If you have it tight and secured down to the reel, you'll have a lot less backlash, tangles, and wind knots whenever you make sure that it's on there secure and tight. The best way that I've found to do this is to either hold it like this with a towel so you don't burn your hands. You can hold it just like this with a towel or a rag so you don't burn your hands and pull tension on it like that. Or the way I like to do it, you take a pot with a nice heavy lid on it, set that down. You wanna set it down like right in front of you to make it even. Hold your 2 fingers like this right above the reel and crank it down. You're gonna wanna apply tension with your 2 fingers, and also the lid on the pot is also gonna apply tension. So you're getting 2 points of tension to make sure that that reel is gonna have the line extremely tight down to it, just like that. Nice and slow and even, but you can still feel the pressure from the lid holding the line against the pot and giving you tension. So that way it's nice and even and tight to the reel. Spooling the mono tight to the reel like this is the best way to use mono on a baitcaster. The tighter it is, the less issues you'll have. All right, guys, so on to step number 2. Pretty simple and straightforward. Do not overspool your reel. If you overspool your reel, you're gonna have a lot of overlapping and line jumping from the mono. Mono has memory. It's just gonna always do that. I do have a trick at the end of this video to show you how to keep mono's memory down to a minimum. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video to see that. Overspooling is the #1 reason why baitcasters with mono always cause a lot of problems and trouble. So this is what you do. If you look at your spool inside of a baitcast reel, you're gonna see a wall right here. If we go over the wall, it's gonna cause a lot of issues because there's gonna be too much line on here. This actually goes for fluorocarbon as well. That's another line that if you overspool, it'll cause issues. Just not as bad as mono. And there you go. That's exactly what you want it to look like. You want to be able to see quite a bit of the spool wall. As long as you can see that much spool wall, you're in a safe zone. Anything more than that's going to cause you issues. This is more than enough monofilament for any kind of freshwater lake. All right, guys, now that we have this tightly spooled and the right amount of line on it, we can go ahead and go on to the next step, which is step 3, setting up your baitcaster. It's a no-brainer. But there is a couple things you want to do differently when you're setting it up for mono. Whenever you go to set your tension in your brakes with monofilament, you want to make sure that your tension's a little bit tighter than it would be if you were using braid or fluorocarbon. Reason being is even though we put this down really tight and we follow the spool rule of not overfilling, you still have a really good chance of having overlapping and tangles in the spool due to the fact that it has memory. You set your brakes to about halfway, so you got them right there in the middle, just like that. We're going to tighten the tension just a little bit more than we normally would. So let's go ahead and do that. So boom, hit the ground. There's a little bit of backlash. So what we're gonna do, get that backlash out of there, just like that. Once it's backlash free, re-engage, reel this bad boy back up, make sure you're holding tension. We just got a small weight at the end. So now what we're gonna do, with the brake set halfway, lock our tension down. You guys have seen this a million times. Go ahead and press that release and then slowly back off the tension until your bait starts to fall and hits the ground with no backlash. Keep going, starting to go. There we go. And that's what you want. No backlash. A little bit of fraying, but no backlash. So now that we have the baitcaster set up correctly and we have the line spooled tight and also not overflowing, let's go ahead and give it a cast and see if that helped. It's super windy out here, so let's see how this goes. Told you. As you can see, it makes a big difference, guys. That's gonna help you reduce a ton of backlashes. All right, now that we've done all that and see that it works pretty good, next we're gonna set the memory. To set the memory of your spool, all you need is a pot of water and something to cook it with. You're gonna wanna get this up to boiling temperature. In our case, we're just gonna use this little camp stove so I can do this outside. Boom, got that going. Let's get this water boiling. All right, guys, once you get your water boiling, you're just gonna take your spool like this and dip it in there. 15-20 seconds, not too long. And then when you take that out, the memory of the line will be set. So now this memory of this line is set to this spool. And that right there is how you set the memory of the mono on your spool. Just make sure not to do it longer than 30 seconds. Also, don't submerge the whole spool. If you do that, it can cause rust issues later down the road. So make sure you tap it off and dry it before you put it back in the reel. All right guys, so if you don't want the hassle of putting mono on a bait caster, it just seems like too much, but you still want to get the benefits of using monofilament for certain baits and lures, then step number 5 is what you'll want to do. By utilizing this last step, it is a lot simpler than using mono. The reason being, you can still get the benefits of mono, but then not have to deal with the hassles. For example, braided line has a smaller diameter and it tends to backlash a lot less, and when it does backlash, it's not as terrible as it would be with mono. 9 times out of 10, if you backlash while using monofilament, your day's pretty much done. If you backlash while using braid, majority of the times you can get it out pretty easy and keep fishing. In my opinion, braided line is the best line you can use. I like fluoro too, but my go-to line on any of my bait cast setups is usually braid. I do braid main line with the fluoro leader. I prefer not to use swivels. I just tie the main line braid straight to the mono and use that as a leader. I'll leave a picture right here of a knot that you guys can look up and use to tie your leader straight to your main line without having to use a swivel. I use it all the time and it works really well and it's very strong. If done correctly, it should look a little something like this. Probably one of my favorite knots to use. All right guys, and there you go. 5 different ways to utilize mono on a bait caster without it giving you a ton of trouble or causing you a bunch of backlashes and tangles. If you guys like this type of content and like the fishing tip videos, click right here to see more. If you guys want to see more of my outdoor adventures or maybe my catch and cooks, click right here. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like. It really does help the channel and it's also free. So I really would appreciate it if you could. I really hope this video helps you guys out and I will see you in the next one.